I'm Isabelle Gonthier, Chief Assessment Officer at PSI Services, and I invite you to delve deep into the world of testing with me. Every episode, I'll be on the virtual couch with experts from the testing industry, engaging in conversations about the latest developments in our field. Your quest for testing knowledge starts here. Well, welcome to this episode of the Tried and Tested podcast. Today, I'm extremely excited to be in Dublin, Ireland, with Brian Donovan. He's the General Manager of SkillsBox and the ICDL Foundation. We're here at the e-ATP conference, but Brian is local. So, really, really happy to be here and to be able to have this conversation with you, Brian.
Yeah, and listen, thanks for having me, Isabel, and I hope you're getting a warm welcome in Dublin.
Oh, absolutely. It's been amazing so far. I want to come back already.
Good, good. That's a good sign. Good sign.
So, today we're going to be talking about in application assessments, the future of credentialing, innovations. I think it's going to be a really interesting discussion because of a lot of the things that you're doing with the ICDL Foundation and SkillsBox.
Sure.
But before we sort of dive into those like hot topics, let's start with your story, your journey. Tell me more about you, how you got involved in assessment, what motivated you to pursue that career.
Yeah, like it's funny, listen to people speaking yesterday at the ATP. I don't think anybody decides at a young age they're going to get into automated testing. So I landed there after college, and my first task was to review, analyze, approve automated tests. So there was half a dozen tests in the market at that time. So I had to make sure they were fit for purpose. They worked. The scoring worked. They were reliable. They were fair. All these things. So it was technical, and really, I became a psychometrician, I would say, on the back of that. So I was testing how items performed,
Okay.
just so we're fair to everybody, made sure passing rates, etc., were in line with what we expected. So yeah, it's not something I planned. I ended up there. I've been there a long time. So I've been there 20 plus years in ICDL Foundation. So I've seen it grow. I've seen the technology change. PSI have been there, and one of the few that have lasted the term here. So they're still there. We're still using their application tests. So they're proven, reliable and fair tests. So that's my story. So I moved from that to different roles within the foundation. Now my current role is I'm heading up the area of content development, whether that be test production, e-learning, diagnostics, but also the development of the application that delivers this around the world. So we have a team of software developers around the world. So all development of content, development of applications.
So you basically grew up in your career at the ICDL Foundation, and then
Exactly.
here you are now, with like managing big programs, being innovative, and thinking outside the box. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
listen, it's as you can imagine, it's changed, and it's changing faster now.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's the thing. We need to be agile. We need to kind of like because things are moving fast. So, speaking of that, so ICDL has been leading the charge in a way in digital skills for a number of years. And now with SkillsBox, you're pushing things even further. So, what makes the platform stand out? And what's the bigger vision that you're really looking at?
Yeah, well, listen, we constantly look at what the general population need when it comes to digital skills, and how we assess that, how we train, how we assess. Um, the Office applications are probably most popular still. Excel, PowerPoint, Word. We use in application testing for practice tests, but also we use that in the assessment. We feel that's the closest to real life, let's say on the job testing. Um, but on top of that, cybersecurity, that's another module,
Mhm.
very popular. We have released an AI module 2 years ago. We're in the process of releasing a newer syllabus for AI, which will focus more on end user usage. So rather than the theoretical side of things, it's more about productivity, how best we can use AI. So it's that market. It's that, everybody needs to improve their digital skills. Everybody thinks they have probably more than they have. So
Mhm.
it's our job to I suppose, stay current, stay relevant, and deliver what people need.
Yeah. So how does that work? Talk to me a little bit more about the in-application process and what does it look like? What does it do?
Yeah.
Just so our audience can really understand a little bit more
Sure, yeah,
about it.
yeah. Like the history of this is in the early days, the way you assessed someone's skills on the Office application was to put some working files on a floppy disk in a
Mm,
training center.
okay.
Went into the computer, and you had a printed off sheet of questions for a candidate. So they once they got approval to start the test, they looked at the questions, they answered by doing in the Office application. So they opened Microsoft Office, they saved it onto the floppy disk. The person marking the test took all the floppy disks, took them away, and then marked them manually. So the big change from that point, that was the early
Mhm.
days. So what's changed after that, and this is going back a while now, we automated that whole process. So now the candidate, when they get to the point of taking the assessment, when they get by the verification checks, the security, this could be in a school classroom, it could be in a corporate environment, a private training center. They log in, they get to the point where they're starting their test. This is now all automated. You could say it's using AI. They click on the button to start whichever test they're taking.
Mhm.
It opens automatically the application that's installed on their PC or laptop. So it opens Microsoft Word. It pre-fills some content, whether it
Right.
be figures in an Excel spreadsheet or a presentation in PowerPoint. It's loaded already, so it pre-fills that. It opens up for the candidate. There's a little question box at the top of the screen, so that tells the candidate what they need to do. It's timed, obviously. Um, so starts off from easy to hard. Open this document. Okay, make this line bold. Insert a table. The system is correcting that. So that's the in-application technology. The software piece is recording what they're doing and correcting whether they answer the question right or wrong. So there's no manual marking of this. There's no one coming
Yeah.
along after taking any USB or floppy disk and going through it. So there's instant feedback. So at the end of the test, once they submit their final answer, and it all starts in the browser. So that's the first thing. This starts in the browser and then opens the local application, the Microsoft Office application automatically. Then you get your result at the end. So it's typically 75% or over to pass that test. So it's instant feedback. So we talk about AI improving all your flows, your manual flows. That's essentially what automated test did. So that allowed scalability, instant scoring of tests, instant feedback. So it's not only the assessment, practice test, as we call them, diagnostics test. We use that as well. Real advantage there is, you know, people are training on these applications.
Yeah.
They're familiar with them.
Yeah.
They're probably at home. It's on their PC as well. So it's not new when this opens up. So it also allows for um, problem solving during the test. So, okay, I can see that's the wrong answer, and I can try again. So it's a very fair way of testing.
Yeah, and then from a face validity standpoint, because it's exactly the application they're using instead of trying to mock up something that would look like. So now it's the actual application, it's the actual use of the
Yeah,
application, exactly what they're doing in real life.
exactly. Exactly. Now there is a place in certain exam areas for mock-ups, and there are different test types. We cover lots of different item types, but yeah, if you look back at the first edition, the manual test, that was a very fair way of doing it. You're comfortable. You're opening the application. All this did was add a layer of automation there, so it's still the same thing.
Mhm.
So it is very fair.
Yeah. So I think that's great because when, obviously, traditional assessment, like traditional multiple choice and how it's kind of constructed is not going anywhere.
Yes.
But the thing is that there's so much opportunities with a concept like that, with the in application sort of approach. So how do you kind of balance the use of the in application to really test the actual use of the tool and more traditional multiple choice knowledge test assessments?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we've a range of modules, like our core modules, Office applications, cybersecurity, theory-based, so
Mhm.
less actions for a user.
Okay.
These could be scenarios. identify malware. That's changed so much now, and it's constantly changing. So we have to keep updating that. But the test questions aren't suitable for it. Wouldn't be an application test. So it is theory test. It could be multiple choice. It could be identifying something in an image. It could be text entry. So lots of different test types that again come from PSI, but are suitable to our different modules. So modules are more
Yeah.
theory based than action items. Going back to the application and the office modules, employers love that. It is the closest thing to proving, yeah, I can do something. And here
Showing they
I'm
have the skills, the
proving it.
knowledge, they can use the tool.
100%, 100%. So with cybersecurity, different. You need to say, well, I need to recognize that that's a phishing attempt. So it's a different construct for that item. So it depends on the content or the item types or the module essentially. Now, just going back to your point on mocking up screens, we do think there is a place for that, because while lots of people use the desktop applications, office applications, a lot of people are using the online browser version. Um, so we've simulated that.
Mm.
And again, it's another item type within PSI, and the platform allows us to do that. Very fair, and it's a valid test. So it's nothing installed. So it's purely in the browser, and you go down the right pathways, and it brings up screen after screen after screen. It's not a pure in application, but it's close to.
Okay.
It's a fair way of examining candidates,
Yeah.
and so we need both. Like, people are using online, and people are using desktop versions. So
Absolutely. And how do you address like potential concerns around security? Like obviously this isn't a closed down environment and all of that, but can we talk a little bit more about that?
yeah, and our model is very much on premise.
Okay.
Um, so our partners around the world, their job is to accredit training centres.
Okay.
So their job is to QA and manage the security and audit training centres, and then you push it down a level, and it's the training centre's job to invigilate
Yeah.
and watch what's going on. So it's less online security, because it's not video cameras, and
Mhm.
it's not remote, and it's not someone in their house. So it's on premise. There are some browser restrictions where you can't browse around while you're testing, but really it's down to the security around. The invigilator checks it's the right person doing the test.
Yeah.
There's security built into the SkillsBox application, where
Yeah.
there's two-factor. So you need to have a valid code that's only valid for whatever
For
short
your
length of time for
attempt.
your
Yeah.
attempt. The invigilator provides you with that. Secondly, when you choose the right module, because more times than not, people are signing up to between 7 and 10 modules.
Okay.
And
So
it could
there's
be
multiple offerings and then
exactly.
they're like,
So for that particular test session, the invigilator wants them to start the correct module. So
okay.
there's two steps, and then they're there live invigilation. So that's the model.
Okay.
It's there's less remote proctoring.
Yeah, and it brings a lot of flexibility because you're meeting the test takers where they are and then providing them the opportunity to take those stats or multiple tests where they do their learnings, where
Exactly.
they do. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense. And now a short break. Hello, tried and tested listeners and fellow testing enthusiasts. I'm Isabelle Gonthier, your guide through the fascinating world of credentialing. Each week, we dive deep with expert guests to explore the hottest topics in certification and licensure testing. If you're enjoying our journey through lifelong learning and innovation, take a moment to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And if you know someone passionate about testing or curious about the latest testing trends, why not share this podcast with them? It might just be the inspiration they need. Thank you for tuning in and being part of our community. Remember, sharing knowledge is one of the best ways to grow our industry together. Keep listening. Let's talk about AI. So obviously AI is a big topic all the time.
Yeah,
So it's opening a lot of doors in credentialing and assessment in general. So how are you thinking about using it within SkillsBox to improve learning, security, to some extent,
yeah.
or the overall assessment experience?
There's a couple of prongs to this now, because it's our job to train people on AI. So there's two bits to it. Yeah, we will be adding, to the candidate experience. Maybe it'll be micro learning. AI will be part of producing content. AI will be part of our item bank. AI will improve the learning experience, get to the unknown pieces maybe quicker than that's happening now, rather than starting from scratch and going through everything. AI will probably help with that. What we're focusing on at the moment is our AI module. I touched on it earlier. So
Okay.
that's something we have an AI module, test assessments and e-learning. We've improved, let's say, a larger module to fit in with our other core modules. Same size, same concept, improving productivity. What is AI all about? I mean, most companies need this. A lot of them are
Yeah.
jumping in, going, "Let's use this. Let's use it. Let's use it." But we think we need to train people.
Yeah,
And
there's the AI literacy piece that is so, so critical.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's being used. It's yeah, people are unsure. It comes to IP, what can go, what they're feeding into it, what they're taking out of it,
Okay.
what's allowed to be used, what's the policy in the company, what's the regulation. But really, yeah, a big part will be, okay, how can we improve productivity? And it'll be eventually linked with our office applications. But
Mhm.
we see it now as this is a core module. So we need to train people. Um,
Mhm.
so at least they have a base understanding before jumping in and trying everything. I spoke to people yesterday about AI in their organizations, and this idea of shadow use of AI and people using hundreds of different AI apps and little control over it. So
Mhm.
um,
There's risks associated with
there's
that.
risk. There's risk. So there's two elements. It's control, risk versus, yeah, I need to use it for improving
Mhm.
productivity.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's that balance of kind of making sure you can understand and discover and play with it because people need to get comfortable.
yeah,
But then what's the balance between playing with it and then kind of opening things up for exposure or not? You need to understand where you're putting your information, how it's being used. You need to have the proper guardrails. So all of that knowledge and understanding is critical.
yeah,
And from what you're saying, that's kind of what the modules that you have
exactly.
sort of
Yeah, yeah.
is really targeting.
Yeah, we think like I said at the start, like we're interested in improving the digital skills of everybody, and this is part of it now. So this is the nearly a first step, and it'll change so quick that'll it's like cybersecurity. We're releasing a newer version of that now,
Okay.
purely because that's changing so fast as well, and AI is coming into that also. So yeah, we have to keep up, be current, and
Yeah, so you have
deliver
to
these.
be nimble, you have to
Yeah,
kind of adapt quickly because this is, like, changing, like, every hour, every
yeah,
day, pretty much. So we often say innovation isn't just about the technology, it's also about kind of building trust, it's about the processes, the people. So how do you think awarding bodies or credentialing organization can make sure that new ways of testing or different ways of testing, like in application testing,
yeah.
um, are really credible, fair, and really relevant to the industry. And I guess it depends in which industry you are in. But yeah, how do you ensure that you're maintaining that element of fairness and credibility?
Yeah, yeah, like it's a good question, and I suppose we do have a network of partners around the world. Just the way ICDL is, how it works. Like we're the foundation. We're based here in Dublin. We're the governing body, but we have partners. For example, in the UK, the British Computer Society run ICDL, and
Okay.
they accredit centres in the UK, and same in different countries around Europe. We've partnered in ICDL Asia, Africa, etc. So there's feedback. There's feedback from their customers, their candidates, all the way up, comes back into us. So we're not. Let's say we're not coming up with things ourselves based on our own judgment. So it's from in the market
Mhm.
feedback. So anything we do, we involve our partners. The AA module has gone around the world now to create this syllabus. Same with the assessment. So it's that knowledge and understanding of what the customer wants, I guess, is comes to us from that network. So
Mhm.
that's how we get, you know, new ideas, new technology, new assessment types. But really, the one big example of new technology and assessments is that Office 365 Online,
Mhm.
which is our latest. It's simulated, and there was a need for it. How else are we going to make that a fair, reliable test? Wasn't suited to multiple choice, wasn't suited to in application, so simulations was the way to go. So I guess feedback from partners and customers is massive for us.
So keeping your finger on the pulse basically, and then making sure that to be relevant, you need that feedback. You need that feedback loop happening, and then you adapt, you modify, you create new ways, new assessments, new modules to meet the needs of the stakeholders in the market.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's our job to get that, to keep relevant, to keep current, to keep those modules up to date.
Absolutely. So if we kind of flip things around a little bit and look at this through the learner's eyes, what do those types of assessment feel like to them? And then how, what's their experience and how is it for them in terms of like the relationship with their day-to-day work and how they're using it, using the tools in their day-to-day work, and how does it relate back, as we were discussing a bit earlier, to the actual format of the assessment?
Yeah. Um, another change for us, and probably COVID had an impact on this, are the learning and improved learning for candidates. That all started to really kick off around COVID. People couldn't go to training centres,
Mhm.
so that idea of being prepared and using e-learning, using videos, using scenarios.
Yeah.
Um, our diagnostic assessments cover the full syllabus. It'll show you where to go, where you need improvement. It'll direct you what part of the learning you may need to go back and do again. Um, but the key point with a lot of the in application in particular is everyone is using it day to day. Right. So we've done surveys around the world, and we call it perception versus reality. People think they can use these applications in their jobs, in school. Um, they think they can use them to a high degree. Turns out most people can't.
Mm.
Yeah, they can do the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this formal idea of training and assessment really takes them to a much higher standard. So that, again, that's what we're keen on promoting. Okay, you may be able to go into Word, you may be able to put a report together, but here's professional, looking report that you're going to use in your job, or you're going to use it in a job application. It's going to really help you. So again, what people need, that's what we're trying to deliver.
Mhm. So from a learning experience, it's kind of like allowing to level up and then demonstrate through the assessment and the results, like that you've have the knowledge and you've achieved that
Exactly.
level that is kind of bringing you to that elevated sort
Sure.
of like as a user,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So ICDL overall has always been really good at staying relevant as technology has shifted. Can you share some stories about how your organization has evolved and how like you've been keeping like up to date, and what are some of the opportunities and challenges associated with that?
Yeah, like if you look at who is taking on ICGL, like a lot of governments are including it in their frameworks
Hmm.
for educating their population.
Okay.
We're working with, last week I'm speaking to our partner who's talking to the ministry in Ethiopia, for example, about what they need, and it's ICDL, you
Okay.
know, people need it. And regardless, in all countries, there is a need for ICDL, that level of digital skills. So, you know, that type of discussion tells us we are keeping relevant, we are
Hmm.
keeping current. We've introduced modules over the last few years that are in the public domain, blockchain, cloud computing.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so we have to identify this. We have to see what people need, and then we produce this with our experts. So it goes back to our last point.
Hmm.
We do identify what's needed in the market. We
Yeah.
do rely on our partners to help us with this. Then we produce and we deliver.
And that allows you to stay relevant, to also then explore what technology you might need to use to get to where you need to be, and try things out and see what works.
Yeah, like our whole offering has radically changed, I would say. The testing bit remains a constant.
Okay.
We've brought everything into, we've consolidated, I would say, everything into one-stop shop for candidates and indeed for test centres. Credentialing was done outside of the application.
Okay.
Back in the day, it was a paper search.
Yeah.
We moved to a third party that offered it on their platform, the certificate or the badges. We've brought that now inside the SkillsBox application, so the candidate can do everything from within their portal. So that's been a big improvement also. So they get their instant digital certificate. They can share that
Yeah.
on LinkedIn.
Yes.
They can provide a link to anybody that needs to verify a potential employer. They're on an interview, they can provide a link that they can share, and that can be open to prove, yes, this is the person, these are the modules they've passed. We have badging. I mentioned our e-learning solution really improved. We look at that again. We might go bite-sized. We might change, make tweaks there, introduce AI. So yeah, listen, it changes with the times. It's needed, and it's constantly evolving.
Yeah, no, that's great, and it provides great visibility because the concept, the badges, it's great for the candidate, for employers, but also for your organization because that visibility, it's kind of like everywhere. It's a way to really kind of like bring it out. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
great.
that's good promotion.
So what's next? What's next in terms of like, in the assessment world, but also for ICDL? Like, what do you see like in the next 5 years? Like, what are you the most
Yeah,
excited about, or what's next?
I love that question because we need to get to next year.
I know.
Who can say what's going to happen in 5 or 10 years? It's impossible. Like 2 years ago, we just said where we are, now.
Yeah.
So listen, our as I said, on the agenda for us at the moment is cybersecurity and
Mhm.
AI, and getting those improved or up-to-date modules to market. Uh, what are people going to be doing next? Probably, it's going to be something around workflows. It's all about productivity. How do
Yeah.
I automate these workflows? How am I going to use the tools? There's going to be new tools. We're going to stay. We never stay with the same tools. Probably application integration is going to be so
Okay.
that the assessment may not just be, it's based on one Office module. It could be Office plus AI plus cybersecurity. It could be a mix of the assessment could be a mix of things rather than just one topic.
Mhm.
Possibly that's the way it could go.
Okay. Well, it's good. And I like the fact that you're saying that, we used to really think with like planning for 5, 10 years in the fast evolving world that we're in. Like this is almost like a futile exercise.
Yeah,
You still need to plan for the
yeah,
future. Yeah,
yes, of
absolutely.
course, yeah,
But you need to adapt that time frame
yeah,
to be agile and flexible.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You can hear it here.
Yeah.
Everybody talking here. It's just changing so fast. It's great. It's great. You
Yeah,
just need
absolutely.
to
It keeps you on your
keep on
toes.
your toes. Keep on your toes.
So, as we wrap up this amazing conversation, what would be a piece of advice you want to give to other organizations that are considering different types of assessments or really looking at how they can leverage AI?
Yeah, good one. They need to understand AI. They need to take ICDL module in AI.
Okay, there you go. I love it. Look at
As a
you.
start. But it needs to be controlled.
Yeah.
You can't just, you could end up spending a fortune and running away with yourself, and just opening it up completely. You need to embrace it, but you need to control it also. But you need to understand it.
Yeah.
So that's our first step in teaching the masses what it's about.
Yeah, I think that's a very important and great advice because sometimes, we have a tendency to want to go fast,
Yeah.
and fast
Yes.
here is not the solution. Take the time, understand it. You need to react. You need to kind of make sure you're setting yourself up for success, and there's no time to wait for that. But taking the time to understand, learn, equip yourself with that kind of understanding and literacy, so then you can make better decisions for your program.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, thanks, Brian. It's been really a great conversation. And I know there's going to be more here, like for the
Yes.
next couple of days
It's
at
interesting.
e-ATP. So
Yeah.
let's keep that conversation
Yeah.
going.
Before you go,
Oh, yes. Yes.
it's a gift, and I know your son is here also. This is a hurley stick.
Okay, tell
Okay,
me more about that.
okay, it's our national sport.
Okay.
This is made of ash, and it's an ancient sport. So it's played in Ireland for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Wow.
But if you YouTube hurling, you'll see what I'm talking about. So it's
Okay.
very popular. We fill stadiums, people going to watch this game. So it's a
Okay.
very skillful game. Now this is a junior hurley. It wouldn't be. It's like your son would need another one, but this will fit in your suitcase.
Okay. Well, I appreciate. Thank you so much. He will be very excited because,
Okay,
yeah. Thank
there
you.
you go.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah,
And then appreciate your time.
thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.